Hello everybody on YouTube channel. Maybe I'm finally playing Pokemon Arceus again, but it's been so long that I barely even remember what happened last video. That's right, I had to watch it again to remember what happened. But then I do remember, and I remember that actually I'm really mad now because last video the Misfortune Bandits stole my new friend PALINAS baby Growlithe, and now they're trying to force it to evolve on top of a volcano. And the last thing that happened in the video was I lost trying to fight them. Amy. And so now I need to level up my Pokemon so that I can win and save the Growlithe. And it turns out that there's a whole bunch of alpha Pokemon that I've marked on the map. But I've been too scared to fight them. But now I think I'm ready. So I'm gonna go alpha hunting until I'm strong enough to beat the Misfortunes. And so I go fight an alpha Luxio that I marked on the map forever ago. And I think it's gonna be a really hard fight. And I'm gonna have to use so many Pokeballs to catch it. But when I use my Gastrodon against it, I accidentally knock it out in one hit. Which, that isn't what I wanted because I want to catch the alphas. I don't want to knock them out. So then I think, maybe I'm a little too strong now. But that's not true, it turns out, because then I remember there's this really big alpha Snorlax that I want to catch. But when I fight it, it does so much damage to my Typhlosion. So I swap out my Typhlosion for my Gastrodon because my Gastrodon beats everything. But turns out that's not true either, because the Alpha Snorlax does so much damage to my Gastrodon, and my Gastrodon does barely anything to the Snorlax. So I have to use potions, but the Snorlax can just use rest and heal himself for free. Maybe. And he just keeps using Zen Headbutt to knock out my Pokemon. And so I think, maybe I'm actually not ready to fight Snorlax yet. And he keeps healing himself, so I just decide to run away now. But now, I have another mission besides saving the baby Growlithe. I'm going to get strong enough to catch that Snorlax, because I know that once I'm strong enough to catch that Snorlax, I'll be strong enough to beat the Misfortunes too. Maybe. So I go catching as many alphas as I can, like this giant alpha Rapidash. I also do my alpha dance. I call alpha, I call alpha, I call alpha. And then this alpha Statler, and then this alpha Cricketune, and then this alpha Scyther, and then this alpha Lopunny, and then this alpha Pachirisu, and then this alpha Skuntank, and then this alpha Hippodon. But after that, I've leveled up a lot, so I go back to fight the Snorlax again. And he's still really strong, but now my Gastrodon manages to damage him enough that I feel like I might be able to catch him. And so I use my Ultra Balls on him, and they're really strong, but they're also really expensive. And Snorlax just keeps breaking out of them. And every time he breaks out, he gets angrier. And so he knocks out a bunch of my Pokemon again. And he makes me use 6 of my really expensive Ultra Balls. But I catch him, I win, and I catch him. And so I do my big alpha dance. I call it alpha, I call it alpha, So then I go back to town, and I show off my new alpha Snorlax to everybody. He's really big. He's really, really big. And the captain is so impressed by it that she promotes me to a 6-star Galaxy member. And so now, I go back to fight the Misfortunes. And this time, I put better Pokemon in each fight, and I actually use types that are strong against the Misfortunes Pokemon. And most of them, I just one-shot now. So the Misfortunes are really easy now because I trained so hard and they can't believe that I'm that good now, that I beat them. But I am that good and I did beat them. But then, we hear a mysterious Pokemon call coming from the volcano, and suddenly the baby Growlithe evolves into a really big Arcanine. But also, a rift forms in the sky, and crazy lightning hits the Arcanine. And so it turns into a crazy Pokemon like Cleaver and Lilligant. And the Misfortunes, they run away, even though this is all their fault. And so now, it's up to me to fix things by fighting the Arcanine too. And this fight is really, really dangerous because we're on this tiny little island surrounded by lava, so I have almost no way to dodge when Arcanine dashes at me or slams into the ground. But I just throw as many goodie vines as I can at him. And also, Arcanine starts leaving these big pools of fire on the island, which are basically impossible to avoid, so I get stuck in a corner of the island and I have to dodge really close to lava. But when his life gets really, really low, he starts charging up his super move. And so to get to him, I have to dodge right through the fire, even though it burns me, but I make it through. I throw my last goodie bag like I always do, and he explodes, and he's become a normal Arcanine again. So then, after the fight, PALINAS sees the ghost of Arcanine's dad, who died saving the baby Growlithe from drowning. And so, PALINAS says she understands now that the dad was watching over them the whole time, but just as a ghost, to make sure that the baby Growlithe grew up strong. And now that it's all grown up, PALINAS has to say goodbye to Arcanine, because now Arcanine is the big guardian of the coastlines like it was always supposed to be. And so, after that, I talked to Irina, and she thanks me for being strong enough, not only strong enough to beat the misfortunes, but also to beat the lightning crazy Arcanine, because she feels bad that all she can do is watch. And so she feels like she's a bad leader now for the Pearl Clan. But I tell her she's not a bad leader, she's a good leader, because she told me what to do when I got to the coastlands, and so she's really the only reason I did anything. But she says she wants to prove that she's strong too someday, and so I say I'll help her with that. But that's for next video now, because I did a lot already, and because this video is over anyway. Hebe!